Yes, yes. Hello. Hey, what's going on, guys? Thank you all for coming through. I'm Andrew with HitTrax. I'm joined up here by the Driveline Director of Player Development, Max Dudo. Today, so I'll say first off, I know a lot of you guys know HitTrax. You have HitTrax. If you don't, you want it, or you have a place where you go and use it. I love these expo talks because it gives us a chance to kind of dive into one of the things that you're able to do with our technology. HitTrax, as you know, if you've used it, there's a lot of different things you can do. There's a lot of ways to implement it in your program, and sometimes that can be overwhelming. So historically, what we've done here is kind of hammered in on one piece, giving you something to take back. So today, we're going to talk about point of impact. Before, we've done talks on the strike zone here on this floor. We've done video analysis. We've also done creating a competitive environment using gaming with the technology, which if you're interested in some of those topics, they should be in the ABCA archives and on our YouTube channel. Great topics. But so today, I want to dive into point of impact. It's something that's there on the system that if you're using profiles, which I cannot stress enough to use profiles, we were talking about that. Don't go to batting practice mode unless you're just, hacking, having fun. Use an account, use a profile, because you're going to get the immediate feedback and you're going to get the point of impact chart. So you see kind of the plot chart here. If we roll to the next one, you'll see on the right side of the screen is a playback of showing the video and a side view of the point of impact. So you saw the bird's eye view. You can also toggle that to have a side view of it, and players will get that every time they swing. All right. I can't emphasize enough, use the profiles and turn that on because the immediate feedback in the cage is going to help a lot. So, and with that, there's plotting and reporting as well too. So Max at Driveline, you use profiles every time, right?
Every time.
Every time.
And it's a critical point. I mean, like to track any longitudinal, thing with a player, like you got to use a profile that allows us to generate all the reports we want and really do what HitTrax is meant for, which is track progress.
Yep. I love it. All right. I'll let you take it away. I know you got some good stuff.
Cool. Well, thanks, Andrew. Thanks again to HitTrax for having us here. HitTrax been such a great partner for us, and we've used it ever since we started Driveline hitting, and honestly can't really imagine training hitters without it, just because the feedback is so critical and valuable to us. So, and this topic especially, point of impact, I'm excited to talk about it just because, I do think it's underutilized. The outcomes you have as a hitter can all be traced back to point of contact. Has such an influence on bat path, batted ball outcomes, everything. So as a result, it's just critical feedback for hitters. So today we'll talk about the interplay between point of impact, bat path, ball flight, how to train this stuff, a bit of a framework for how to do it, and then a case study example. Okay. If you guys haven't been on Baseball Savant yet to check out the bat path point of impact visuals here, definitely do that. It's such a great learning tool and only available in the past year or so. So that's what we have up here. We have Juan Soto's bat path. And this is going to tell us this relationship exactly, right? So we're looking at three things with bat path and point of impact, and that's bat speed. And bat speed is going to go up as point of impact moves out in front, right? Like you can see this very clearly on the visual. He reaches that 74 mile an hour bat speed a bit more out in front. The attack angle is going to go up as point of impact goes out in front, meaning you're going to be swinging more up on the ball the more out in front you make contact. Then your horizontal bat angle is going to move further to the pull side the more you get more out in front. All intuitive things that we kind of understand as hitting coaches, right? But it's really good to have this visual, really good to have this data to back it up and really give our hitters the right feedback at the right time. Okay, so again, with deeper contact, we're looking at slower bat speeds. We can see right there, 67 miles an hour. His average bat speed is 74 miles an hour. Means he's not going to be hitting the ball as hard deeper in the zone. We also, the attack angle is -3 degrees. He's swinging down deeper in the zone. So when they do square a ball up, it's going to be a hard backside ground ball, right? It's not going to be hit as hard as their pull side batted balls, but when they do hit a ball flush, that's what the ball flight is going to look like. And again, in contrast, out front, you're going to be swinging faster. You're going to be swinging more up on the ball. That's going to mean line drives, fly balls to pull gap, pull side of the field. All right. So this is the background information that we need to really diagnose issues with hitters and train hitters in the cage swing by swing.
I would also add, when you look at like that chart there, for example, you're looking at point of impact in space, right? And HitTrax, we're reporting that data in relationship to home plate. So in the case study you guys have coming up, and when you guys are using this, it's important to have guys stand in the same spot in the box, because a lot of times contact here is based on the body of the batter as well, which you're not seeing with the HitTrax. So it's important to have them in a consistent spot in the box.
Yeah, if you come to our place, we're constantly yelling at hitters to stand in the same place so we can make use of it. With the stuff you see on Baseball Savant, it's all normalized for like their average point of contact and their body positions. But yeah, if you're using this stuff, stand in the same place, that's going to give you the same exact info. Cool. So what does this mean generally for MLB hitters and just good hitters in general? Intuition, right? We want to live in the middle. We want to be able, like, our stock swing is hitting a line drive up the middle at a decent point of contact, not too out in front, far in front, not too far, not too deep. But production is going to happen at the top end of that. It's going to happen more out in front. That's where we're going to get our barrels, our homers, extra base hits, all that type of stuff. You need to be able to do both. Obviously, you don't want to live out in front. You don't want to live too deep. You want to live in the middle. But you're not going to be a good hitter unless you have that ability to catch the ball out in front and really drive the ball. So it is a give and take. It is a matchup play. There's not one way to do everything all the time. Obviously, the better bat path you can have, the better chance you can give yourself to produce good outcomes all the time. That's what we'll look at here. We have Arenado here. Obviously, probably one of the better hitters for contact and power over the past 10, 12 years or whatever. And what we're looking at here is his stock point of contact, his stock ball flight. He's making contact like right on top of the plate, right at the front of the plate. And we see the trajectory, right? It's just like nice, clean, lowish line drive to the center of the field. As hitting coaches, we all love to see that, right? And we love to see that because it means they have a little bit of an ability to adjust. He gets deep, he gets beat, catches it deep, backside ground ball, more out in front. We're looking at more production, more good batted balls to the pull side. And with Arenado in particular, he's one of the best at pulling the balls in the air. And that's totally a bat thing. If you have that ability to do that, you can honestly have less bat speed and still hit the same amount of home runs as other guys. So this is him adjusting to a pitch out in front. This is what we're talking about in terms of just having that ability to hit the ball in front and also having that ability to adjust. He's hitting this ball way, way more out in front than he was in that previous swing. Just having that ability to do that is obviously like a very advantageous thing as a hitter. And just like if we're diagnosing point of impact information and we're using this data, we want to make sure that hitters do have this type of ability.
Quick question on this. So you've highlighted that area where his most of his damages. Is that what that is?
So that's just out in front, right? Like
just out in front.
There's a pitch that's clustered out there, and just visualizing it. Like if you're going to use this as a coach and you're looking at the HitTrax data, like you're looking at something that's more out in front. And that's obvious, right? You can see it on the video. But when we're training guys, right? It's just like, hey, the outcome we're shooting for here is pull side homer, barrel. We want it out there.
And this is Arenado's POI chart here. Do you see in general, like it kind of looks like it's scattered. I'm curious. Do you see in general, as the pitch moves inside to a batter, that they catch it further out in front? Or does it really just vary? It's all based on pitch type, pitch location?
Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, pitch type is going to influence the point of contact a bit. More inside, obviously more out in front. And your bat path isn't in a vacuum, right? It's not just one bat path. Like it can obviously change. If you get a pitch inside, you're going to have to pull the hands in a bit more. You have to hit the ball more out in front of the pitch inside, more outside, lower, deeper. How to use this is like the general framework and what HitTrax gives us. In session feedback. So what I mean by in session feedback, I mean swing to swing feedback. And this is really important because as hitting coaches, most frustrating things when a hitter just doesn't know what mistake they made, right? Like we're always trying to get them to the right focus and point their mistakes out. And when we have point of impact data, we have ball flight data, and if we have some bat path data too, that's going to give us every piece of information we need to show the hitter like, hey, here's exactly what happened on this swing. Example of this, hitter rolls over, right? What happened? Did you hit the top of the ball? Were you swinging too up and flipped it and hooked it? Were you swinging too down? Or were you just early? Like what was the thing? A lot of the times just like, dude, you hit just too early. That's what happens. It's not a swing thing. It's not anything else. Like you were too early. And that's why I love this tool on the day to day. Like I can actually get that to folks and they can make the right adjustments at the right time.
That was one of the things, like at the beginning, saying putting POI up there for the immediate feedback. You just check a box, right? What happened? Yeah. You weren't on time? All right, let's get back to it. Were you on time? All right, now we need to dive deeper. If you're doing video, look at the video or start taking a look at what other factor played in. But it's just, you can check that box right away.
Bingo. Secondarily, testing, retesting, having just like a longitudinal look at how a hitter is progressing, and also seeing what changes on a day-to-day basis with hitters too. If their point of contact is way different than we were intending it to be on that day, we can flag it right away. So we'll talk about now is how, a case study of how we've used this in our gym, how we've assessed a player, how we trained them, and how we really improved this, and ultimately got on-field results here. So this is an example of a hitter who needed power production, right? Like that was the thing that was holding him back. He was 23 years old in A ball, hitting 0 home runs, and as a result, being 25% worse than league average. Like something had to really change for him. And just from the stats, we know that power is probably the thing we need to look at. But exactly what is going on with him, we needed point of impact to figure that out. So this was his swing when he first came here. And we have all these mechanical markers, right? Like he's undercoiling the load, causing him to not rotate enough at contact. Sequencing overall just not very good. But really, like we see this steep path that is just unable to catch a ball flush out in front of the zone. Like we just see that thing just like go down, flat, cut across, more out front in the zone. So it's like, okay, great. He can't do that. We're seeing that on the video. What does the data say? Well, first, looking at the ball flight, it says the same thing. Like what we're looking at here, just over on the right hand side, we're looking at exit velocity by spray angle range. So, on like towards the left field line, his exit velocity is very low. What we look to see here, like that red line should be linear. The more you get to the pull side, the higher exit velocity should be. And with him, it drops off very steeply when it gets like, to direct right field. He just cannot square the ball up to direct right field. He's also just not really pulling the ball well or much at all. So point of contact data, okay, it's telling us exactly what we probably thought was going to happen here. He's hitting everything deep and does not have an ability to hit the ball out in front. Average point of contact in our gym, in our environment, when you hit a ball hard and have your point of contact be 16 inches from the back tip of home plate, that is very, very low. So everything is confirming our intuition here, and the thing that we need to attack, we need to get him to have a physical ability to drive the ball out in front of the plate.
I would add one real quick on that chart. So you said his average POI was 16 inches in front of the tip of the plate.
Yeah.
Which what Driveline does a great job, and I know more facilities have done, is actually exporting data. Our report that you get, and that's in each session, you'll see the front of home plate is 0, right? And then behind that is negative, and out in front is positive. So, but I think when the data is actually exported, the point of origin is the tip of the plate. So that's 0, 0. So up to 17 inches is the front of home plate, and then out in front will continue on. I just mentioned that because there are options for CSV exports and API exporting to do exactly what they did and aggregate the data or display it in different ways or get that in players' hands or help with your programming. So I think they do a really good job of it, and it's become more and more popular. But there's options to actually, draw that data to wherever you want to do it and manipulate a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, and I'll say too, if you want to take the simple road, just like if you're assessing a hitter, working with the hitter for the first time, just go to the post-session thing, look at the point of impact, show them what's going on. You get the same visuals and the same insights there too. So it's pretty simple to use just through the software. Okay, so training program. What do we do to actually attack these things? Two main drills that we use for these particular swing flaws. And just a progression. Starting early. I mean, starting simple. Not a game-like environment, very controlled. Progressing to more game-like, so these things actually stick and transfer. So first drill is really just an implement. The long bat is our go-to training bat here for learning how to hit the ball out in front. This thing is 37 inches long, 37 ounces. Makes it very, very difficult to square the ball up like deeper in the zone. So hitters are going to have to feel and get an understanding of what they need to do to catch the ball out in front and hit it flush out in front. So that's the go-to there. Put a long bat in his hand right away. Offset close is the go-to drill for learning how to rotate yourself more at contact, and also start from a bit more like counter-rotated position. So you're starting from this really close stance, and that's going to force you to turn your upper half in order to square the barrel and hit something flush out in front. So another thing that just like gets in the field what he needs to do to accomplish that task of hitting the ball more out in front in the air. So, and again, the off-season progression is so huge here. Like when we have a hitter who's like, there's clearly a mechanical thing that's holding him back. That's no easy change. Obviously, we know it's just very hard to change movement patterns in guys. The key here, starting simple, starting in a controlled environment, adding in variability, adding in more game-like practice, and over time, over the course of an off season, we can really get these changes to stick and transfer to the field. So that's just a critical part for doing this stuff in the off season. Okay, so when we retested in January, like coming close to spring training, this stuff worked. The hard hit ball point of contact dramatically changed. I think up 10 inches, which is exactly what we were looking for. And for this guy, we did spend a lot of time like selling out a bit, learning to hit the ball more out in front. This would not be exactly what I'd be looking for on each hitter, but for him, like we want to make sure that he could do this, and goal accomplished with this, and we're able to track it with HitTrax data. And then the ball flight, right? I mentioned that red line that was just jagged and just drops off steeply when he gets more to the pull side. Now it's more linear, which is what we're looking to see, and what we learned about with bat path earlier. Yeah, I'm hitting the ball lower, not as hard to the opposite field, hitting the ball higher and harder to the pull side. That's what a good bat path does, and he's now doing that. So we now feel a lot better about his ability to catch the ball, hit the ball flush deeper in the zone, middle of the zone, and obviously out front, which is the main focus.
Is that report? I mean, that's a drastic change. Is that report and the path of that line, is that pretty typical of what you'd see from a hitter? Or are they typically just constantly increasing from oppo to pull side?
Yeah, definitely. I think there's a launch angle component of it too. And this all relates back to like kind of the bat path laws that we talked about. Like you can't, like if you're swinging too far up deep in the zone, like that's a big problem. We'll see that here, and you'll see that big drop off like towards the pull side. If you're not able to catch the ball deep in the zone at all, you're going to see very, very low exit velocities there. But I mean, either way, you just want to see this very linear progression. And on the launch angle side of it too, I think one of the marks of a very bad hitter, especially contact wise, just have a high launch angle to the opposite field and a low launch angle to the pull side. This means everything is super wonky with their bat path. It doesn't have that great relationship that we talked about a bit earlier. You're going to need to change something. So looking at that stuff is pretty important too. Okay, so just summary. He's hitting the ball a lot harder. When he hits the ball, he's also hitting it harder. When he hits the ball hard, he's hitting it more in the air. And his hard hit ball point of contact, point of impact is now 10 inches further out in front than when he started. So this is the thing that we really set out to accomplish. If he's hitting the ball harder and hitting it more in the air when he hits the ball hard, that's exactly what we need to hit for more power, obviously, right? So we got these markers that we were really looking for. And it was all like really a direct result of like, hey, every day we're going to be monitoring your point of impact, your focus, hit it out here, hit it more out in front. No, obviously that swing is just way better.
That's a huge difference. How many months is that?
This was 3 months. This was 3 months. He started in October. Yeah, October, November, and then mid January. We're starting to see these changes really materialize. So, and then the most important thing, on-field results were definitely there. And I think this is a result of just like, hey, we picked the right thing. We spent some time really trying to learn this stuff, do it in an environment that allowed him to do that a little bit easier, a little more controlled. And then definitely made sure to try and replicate this type of environment for him before we went to spring training and went to the season. So when we see the results, more homers, slugging's way up, now 30% better than league average at a much higher level. And he was 30% better than league average at AAA this year. So this is the main thing for him. Obviously a very, very straightforward example. Like this is something we were able to clean up pretty quickly, but for a lot of hitters that all of us are coaching, there's definitely this low hanging fruit out there, just fruit out there to pick with point of contact data.
All right, sorry, I'm still in the Q&A session. I'm curious to know, like this guy, is it more typical for a guy like Labrada to be seeing the ball too deep? You get guys that see the ball too far out in front and have to inversely work on getting them to see the ball deeper?
Yeah, definitely. I think this is an example of like, okay, this guy can make some contact. Like he's able to do it deeper in the zone, but he's not able to drive the ball out in front. So like this is not a hitter that I'm worried about, with whiff. Conversely, like you're saying, like if someone's just hitting the ball out in front, yeah, we're gonna have to learn how to hit the ball deeper. And this relationship between how they're moving, how they're swinging the bat, point of contact, actual outcomes, it's all there, right? Just like, are you bad at pitch recognition, or does your swing not allow you to like hit the ball deep in the zone, so you can't wait, right? Like I think those are kind of decisions you have to make and try to understand and pick the right thing for a hitter. But yeah, I mean, conversely, on the opposite side, where it's like you need to make more contact, a lot of times just like you can't do it deeper in the zone, so you are gonna have to sell out and be at that, more out in front range of point of impact, and that's just gonna be more power. Obviously, like you're gonna hit some homers to the pull side, but it's just very hard to live out there because we know MLB hitters like generally live in the middle. So cool.
You also we'll do some Q&A. I wanted to point out one thing, and maybe we go back to it if we end on questions. But you talked about yesterday, like situations also impacting that, right? Like pitch account situations and in-game situations can impact your approach and what you're looking for. That kind of stuck with me. If you've used the training games, you have situational hitting and HitTrax where you put a runner on first, nobody out, right? Or then you move to a runner on second, get them over, runner on third, get them in. What was cool to hear from you is you guys will actually train that, and we capture the data based on situation. So if you do that situational hitting program and you run through a drill set, you can go back and look at the player's data by situation. So if he has 25 ABs with a runner on second, nobody out, you can see his average point of impact in those scenarios. That's probably an example where a guy's going to see it deeper in the zone as opposed to head hunting on a 2-0 count, bases loaded, RBI situation.
Yeah. No,
right?
I mean, this is actually awesome. I think we should use that a lot more just because it really fits with our, like the programming aspect too. Because I mean, with a lot of hitters, not every day are we trying to just like barrel the ball, hit it out front, pull side homers. Like we want to practice all ends of that spectrum and know how we did when we're practicing each end of that spectrum. So that's pretty huge. I can go through that stuff really, really quick. In terms of situationality. So for me, there's only two situations for a hitter. There's a situation where they need to make contact, and there's a situation where you're trying to drive the ball, right? What we know about the bat path information we talked about earlier, when you're trying to make contact, that typically means like, yeah, I'm going to be swinging in a manner that is conducive to like a backside ground ball, right? So the things we generally teach hitters are like basically true, knowing what we know now about bat path and point of impact. So that's really only two main situations there. So for the make contact one, the 2-strike approach one, the backside ground ball, get him over, type of situation. The goal there, mostly make solid contact, generally aiming for that opposite side of the field and deeper contact. We're looking for something like a flatter bat path where like your attack angle doesn't change too much. You're matching the plane of the pitcher a bit more, which is a lot easier to do if you're aiming, deeper in the zone, right, and looking to hit the ball the opposite field. And then an approach that we like to tell hitters too, just like cover the top of the zone. That leads to a flatter bat path generally, and just being able to cover that fastball at the top of the zone, keep it out in front for anything that you're fooled on. So thought this was a good example of Corbin Carroll doing it, a flatter bat path guy too, but like he's hitting this ball super deep, 1-2 count, and he gets exactly what we're looking for when you catch it deep, nice, hard, backside ground ball type of trajectory. So this is something that we definitely like to practice with hitters. And then what we would do in the cage, right, is just like, hey, 2-strike approach. What are we trying to do? Make solid contact. Depending on the skill of the hitter, be like, make solid contact at this launch angle range and at this side of the field and at this point of contact, and using all that like feedback and data points to create the right goal for the hitter on that particular swing or round, stuff like that. So 2-strike approach is what we're trying to do. A little bit flatter, make more contact, hit it deeper in the zone. Then the head in the count, obviously we're looking to drive the ball. So we're out front, we're swinging up. We want to be swinging a bit more up, and that's honestly doesn't have to be a swing thought where I'm swinging up, I'm swinging down, whatever. It can just be, I'm trying to catch this one deep. I'm trying to catch this one out front. If you're trying to catch it out front, of course, we don't have this much time to make a decision. So we're looking for a smaller range of pitches. We're taking some pitches that are strikes. We're only looking for things that we can drive. Or we're really looking for that outcome of a barrel, extra base hit, homers, all that type of stuff. So just so we can see a homer, here we go. 1-0 count, middle. I think the swing is just totally different than that last swing too, right? Just it's a little bit more vertical, a little bit more up. I think it speaks to just the importance of just intention too. And HitTrax using it just really, really drives that, right? Just hit it more out in front. My swing changed only because of where I made impact, where I was trying to make impact. So it'd be cool to see that again. So more vertical right there. Obviously a lot more flatter and deeper in the zone. So doing this stuff is a great way to get out of that, swing mindset and just be like, hey, look, go accomplish this task, go hit it deeper, go hit it out front, go hit it here at this trajectory.
Awesome. If you guys want, we can do some questions here. I know there's probably a few things that people want to know, and you got some good knowledge from our guy Max. Any questions on point of impact, timing, HitTrax related, anything as far as even the data capture, collection, or exporting of the data? Think about it. If you have one, raise your hand. One other thing I was going to point out is contact based on strike zone. At the very beginning, we don't have to go back, but at the very beginning, there was an image of the strike zone showing the plot chart of the pitches, and it gives the average point of contact within each quadrant of the zone. That's in the point of impact report post-session. I think it's really, really valuable info because you get the plot chart of where those hits are made, but then you get the heat map, and you can actually see the measured depth from outside corner to inside corner and see their average contact point within each range. And you can isolate that by exit velocity and just take a look at their top 10 exit velo hits or top 10 distance hits, for example, and see where that occurs in the strike zone. Because there is a difference up in the zone, down in the zone, inside, outside as well. So I think that's a huge piece that sometimes goes unnoticed. In general, just like this entire metric. You guys have it there every day. The tip I'll give you, when you open HitTrax and you start a training session, the bottom right corner, if is going to default to showing the spray chart, right? Which I think it kind of sucks. I'd like to have that changed. But there's no contact data if you're hitting off a tee, so I think I understand why we default to that. If you're hitting with a pitch coming in, starting a session, you have the spray chart there. Hit the baseball bat icon and turn it on. You'll see it in real time every single pitch. It's just been one of the best things. And when you guys you put out a lot of your tweets now with video, ball flight, POI, maybe the strike zone, like those 3 or 4 core pieces. So I can't recommend enough. Like I said at the beginning, using profiles, number one, using the strike zone, and turning on that point of impact chart. If you take one thing away, just hammer at that, use it in the cage. And if you collect enough good data and you're able to analyze the progress over time, that's where I think this becomes somewhat of a difference maker that's easy to implement, that maybe, might get glossed over typically. All right, I guess we covered every single thing. No questions? All right, Max, I appreciate you, man.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
You're awesome. Thank you, guys. If you have any questions, hit us up. One last quick note. I know there's some other awesome talks coming up here. If you're interested, we're going to be doing a pitching demo of the HitTrax Rev system, maybe in like 20, 30 minutes or so, maybe a little sooner. So if you want to see that, feel free and head over. Appreciate you guys coming in and talking.